Yes. I know the last video on my channel was 6 months ago, and the last video on this playlist was 9 months ago. Can't help. It's just me not being able to manage my academic pressure. Now, before I start ranting, let me hand over things to Soham.
Okay. So a lot of students have this dilemma, which is theory versus practice, right? Some students do a lot of theory but do not do the necessary practice that is required for a competitive exam. And many students do a lot of practice but do not study the required theory. So what do you think, which is more important, and how should we distribute time between both of them?
Yeah, actually, theory and practice both are interrelated. If you don't read the theory carefully, you can't solve questions properly. And if you don't solve questions properly and just have gone through the theory, you will face problem while solving questions in the examination. So, I think keeping a balance between them is necessary. But if I am to choose, if I am to choose between them, theory and practice, I would rather choose practice. Because knowing how to solve a question can be helpful during the examination.
Both of them are, I feel, equally important. What I can share how I used to do it. Suppose whenever a new chapter was being taught, the first few days I only used to go through the theories, all the concepts done. Wherever I used to have doubt, I used to consult the teachers and all the every part of the chapter I used to learn, whichever subject it was, to get clear, to get a very clear view of all the concepts. And then I used to start with the practice. Now this practice is a very vast spectrum. It has no end. The more you practice, the better you become, and the layer of the preparation gets thickened and thickened. So this will continue till the day before exam. But having the concept or having the theory clear is very necessary at the same time. So students should balance both.
I think we need to maintain a balance in the theory and the practice. Like, it's not about what's more important, they're both equally important. Like, personally, I devoted time for theory in my physics classes. Like, the faculty members totally helped me through the theory. Like, they told me which chapters are important, which questions are there, and they explained it to me. So, like, at home, I could mostly focus on the problems. I did not have to study the theory much. So that's what I did. Like, in the classes, I focused on the theory, and then at home, I focused on the problems.
I think that in the preliminary stages, first we should study the theory thoroughly, but we should also start doing practice simultaneously. We should not leave all the practice to be done later on. So it should go on simultaneously, and as the exam approaches, we should increase the percentage of practice compared to theory.
Theory should be studied less in comparison to practice. If you study less theory in JEE Advanced, you will not be penalized. But if you study a theory and get misconception and not practice problems regularly for that particular amount of theory, you will get minus marks, which is absolutely deadly in case of JEE Advanced. There is +4 -2 in the MOC part, which drops rank drastically.
Actually, this thing varies with respect to exams. Okay, so in JEE, let us talk about JEE Mains. In JEE Mains, very straightforward questions come. So if you don't know very good theory, or you don't know the theory in much depth, you will suffer because there are theoretical questions in JEE Mains. But there is, in the flip side, in JEE Advanced, you would not just get very straightforward questions. Okay, so if you practice a lot, without theory, then I will assume that you are practicing very straightforward and easy questions. Because if you are practicing twisted questions or very tricky questions, then you will have to study, you will have to grasp the theory behind it. Okay, so you will be bound to just study the advanced theory before solving that. You can solve basic sums only if you don't know any theory. So it will not help in your advanced or any advanced level examinations. So yeah, balance is needed. So step by step, first read some basic theories, then solve basic problems, then just go step by step. Like for physics, you solve DC Pandey, or like you have H.C. Verma. Then we have to go to Irodov, Krotov, and like all such things. And that's like you have to go to step by step.
So it again depends on different areas of the subject. So actually in physics, you don't need to study any theory at all. I mean, with practice it comes. There are a few areas which you need to study theory, or otherwise 90% of physics is just practice. Even maths is, I think 100% of maths is just practice. So yes, but in certain areas like biology, you only have to study about theory, and all practice is very. I mean, practice is almost negligible in case of biology or inorganic chemistry or areas like these. So yes, it depends from part to part.
I will speak on this topic from my personal experience. A lot of you know about a book called Anurag Mishra. So it is a book that covers the theory part pretty well. So there's a chapter, I think, waves. So that waves chapter has at least like 40 to 50 pages of theory.
Yes.
So what I did, I went through all the theory for 10-20 days, and then on the 21st day when I sat down to practice problems, I couldn't do even 10 of them. So that's when I realized that in JEE at least, I think practice should be 80% and theory should be 20%. The point is that if you practice a lot of questions, you will get a good theoretical understanding from doing these questions only. And even if you get stuck at something, when you see the solutions, when you see how the author has approached this question, that would be the best point to learn something.
Look, I think both of them are equally important. I'm telling you a situation like, for example, in physics, what happens? Physics, many of us do. I do not know about you, but many of us do that. After just coming back from the class, suppose the teacher has taught us something new, then we come back and start doing the exercise problems without even reading the book portion properly. That is a major mistake which I had done many a times, because it gives you a satisfaction that it gives you a false satisfaction actually, that you are being able to do the sums because some theory has been jam-packed into your brain by the teacher. But the thing is that unless you yourself go through the notes or go through the details properly, then you won't have a clear-cut knowledge. And it happens is that what happens when the main problem what the students face after this is that when you have finished the what can you say, when you have finished the practice, after what we do not again go back for the theory. So that's the problem. You have to first come back and read the theory, note down, read the points, analyze them properly, see the worked out examples, and then do the practice. Both are equally important, but there is a chronology in which you should follow.
It depends person to person. For me, I was like, I don't want to know the subject. I just want to pass the exam. It's just I just wanted to barely pass. So I saw the syllabus. I need this much theory. I just read that and just practice.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I wouldn't have cleared the exam even. So, for me, it was like this. But suppose someone who's better, then they might focus on theory as well.